Every year, thousands of 80s toy collectors lose money. Not because they lack passion, not because they don't care, but because they keep making the same 5 mistakes. Mistakes that seem harmless at first, mistakes that quietly drain collections of value, and mistakes that cost real money. This video breaks down the 5 most expensive mistakes in 80s toy collecting, from buying reproduction accessories without knowing it, to destroying value through improper storage. These aren't just theories, these are patterns seen across thousands of collections, mistakes that even experienced collectors fall into. And the final mistake? It's the one that destroys entire collections, silently, over years. Let's dive in.
Dinomite! Back to the 80s we go!
Mistake number 1, buying reproduction accessories as vintage. What if 90% of the accessories you see online aren't actually vintage? According to vintage Star Wars collecting experts, up to 90% of accessories on the secondary market today are reproductions. Not fakes, reproductions. And here's the problem. Most sellers don't even know. A collector buys a complete vintage figure on eBay. The seller believes it's all original, lists it honestly as vintage and complete. But that tiny blaster, that cape, that lightsaber, reproduction. Because in the 80s, kids lost those tiny plastic parts. They got vacuumed up, lost in the sandbox, chewed up by the dog. So today, there are far more surviving figures than original accessories. This created a massive market for reproductions. Many collectors buy them intentionally to complete their displays, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem comes when reproductions get sold as originals, sometimes intentionally, often by accident. The value difference is massive. A vintage Star Wars figure with original accessories can be worth hundreds more than one with reproduction parts. So how do you spot reproductions? Original vintage accessories show age, slight discoloration, tiny wear marks, a softer plastic feel. Reproductions tend to be shinier, too glossy, perfect coloring, sometimes with visible mold flash where they were cast. Smart collectors do the sound test. Place the figure and accessory in a small plastic bag. Shake it. Vintage plastic makes almost no noise. Reproductions click and clatter. Before buying any complete vintage figure, ask specific questions. Are these the original accessories? Where did they come from? Can you verify their authenticity? If the seller can't answer confidently, walk away. Your wallet will thank you. Mistake number 2, overpaying because of temporary hype. Why does the same toy sell for $500 one week and $200 a month later? Hype. One big auction result gets posted online, one collector pays top dollar, suddenly everyone thinks that's the new floor price. It's not. The 80s toy market moves on emotion as much as rarity. A popular YouTube video features a specific toy, a celebrity mentions their childhood favorite, a new movie brings a franchise back. Prices spike hard. Collectors panic, fear of missing out takes over, and people pay double, sometimes triple what something's actually worth. But hype always fades. It has to. Here's the truth most collectors don't want to hear. Many 80s toys were produced in massive quantities. Millions of G.I. Joe figures, millions of Transformers, millions of He-Man toys. They feel rare because of nostalgia, not because of actual scarcity. Smart collectors track sold listings, not asking prices, not buy it now prices. Actual completed sales over 30, 60, 90 days. They watch the market. They wait for the right price. They let the hype pass. Overpaying once doesn't just hurt your budget today, it resets your expectations, makes fair prices feel like deals, and expensive prices feel normal. Patience isn't just a virtue in 80s collecting, it's profit. Mistake number 3, not understanding grading and condition. Is a toy really meant just because it looks good on a shelf? Condition is everything in vintage toy collecting. Everything. 2 identical Star Wars figures can look similar at first glance, but be worth vastly different amounts. One grades at AFA 85, one grades at AFA 75. That 10-point difference could be hundreds of dollars. The problem is that most collectors don't understand professional grading or condition standards. Services like AFA and CGA use a 100-point scale. They grade the card, they grade the blister, they grade the figure. A score of 85 means specific things. Light wear acceptable, minor imperfections, no major flaws. A score of 75 means visible wear, creases in the card, stress marks on the plastic. New collectors see graded and assume it means valuable. Not always. And here's what many don't realize. Getting toys professionally graded costs money. Sometimes $50 to $100 per item. Wait times can be months. If your toy isn't in excellent condition to begin with, grading might actually lose you money. For loose figures, condition matters just as much. Tight joints versus loose joints. Original paint versus worn paint. Complete accessories versus missing pieces. A vintage Optimus Prime with all parts in good condition might sell for $300. The same figure missing one piece, $150. Missing accessories quietly destroy value. Before buying, experienced collectors ask detailed questions. What's the actual condition? Are there any stress marks? Is the bubble yellowed? Any creases on the card? They request multiple photos. Close-ups of corners, close-ups of the bubble seal, images from every angle. 5 extra minutes of inspection can save you years of regret and hundreds of dollars. Mistake number 4, improper storage and display. What if the biggest threat to your collection isn't the market, but your living room? Sunlight is a silent killer. UV rays don't destroy toys all at once, they work slowly, day after day, month after month. Fading card backs, yellowing plastic, weakening bubbles, brittling packaging. Many collectors proudly display their best pieces near windows or under bright spotlights. The display looks amazing today, but loses value every single day. Heat is just as dangerous. Attics in summer can hit 120 plus degrees. That heat warps plastic, melts packaging seals, damages adhesives on stickers. Humidity invites mold and rust, especially on card backs and metal parts. And temperature fluctuations, even worse. A garage that's hot in summer and freezing in winter creates expansion and contraction cycles that destroy packaging integrity. Smart collectors control their environment. They store collections in climate-controlled spaces, 60 to 70 degrees, low humidity, minimal light exposure. For displayed pieces, they use UV-protected cases. They keep toys away from windows. They avoid direct sunlight completely. Professional grading companies like AFA and CGA encase toys in UV-resistant acrylic for a reason. Protection equals preservation. Preservation equals value. 1 year of improper storage can undo decades of care. The damage isn't obvious at first, but by the time you notice it, it's permanent. and value rarely comes back. Mistake number 5, no focus, no strategy. Why do some collectors spend more money but end up with weaker collections? Because they chase everything. He-Man this month, Transformers next month, Star Wars after that, whatever feels hot. Their money spreads thin, their knowledge spreads thin, and their collection loses identity. Here's what the strongest collections have in common. Focus. They pick a specific line, vintage Star Wars 1975 to 1985, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They learn that line deeply. Every variant, every production run, every factory difference. When a deal appears, they recognize it instantly. They know what's rare. They know what's common. They know what's worth paying up for. Scattered collectors miss deals because they don't know enough about any one thing. They overpay for common figures. They pass on actual rarities. They can't spot reproductions. Fear of missing out pushes collectors to buy fast and broadly, but discipline builds collections that actually hold value. Start with one line, master it, then expand if you want. Collections built with focus appreciate faster. They're easier to sell, more impressive to other collectors, and more satisfying to own. Quality beats quantity every single time. These 5 mistakes cost collectors real money. Buying reproduction accessories without knowing it, overpaying because of temporary hype, not understanding grading and condition standards, destroying value through improper storage, and having no focus or strategy. But here's the good news. Every single one of these mistakes is avoidable. Do your research before buying. Track actual sales data, not asking prices. Learn grading standards, protect your collection from environmental damage, and pick a lane. Because 80s toy collecting should be fun, not stressful, and definitely not filled with regret. If this video helped you avoid even one expensive mistake, hit that like button. It helps this channel more than you realize. And subscribe to Dinomite 80s Toys for more content like this. If you have questions or want to see specific topics covered, drop them in the comments. Those comments directly shape what I make next. Thanks for watching, and protect your collection.